Hi everyone, so this is my first video on this channel, so let's get started. This is all about top summer scary movies to watch to get you primed and ready for spooky season, or if you just want to watch scary movies that pertain to summer themes, then this list is going to be for you in no particular order, and no spoilers. I hate spoilers, can't stand them. So this won't spoil any movies for you. So no order, like I said, I asked some people on Instagram for recommendations, and then I had some on my list that were just classics that I already watch every year. So the first one would be Jaws, and 1975 it came out. It's a classic. It's got so much summer vibes going on with the beach and the ocean, and it takes place on like the 4th of July weekend, so very holiday summer beach day inspired. And if you haven't seen it, I really suggest watching it this summer, especially if you're even into like Shark Week on Discovery Channel. Throw in Jaws for, you know, a fictional scary movie to watch. I think what's interesting is the practical effects that are done, because we're so used to scary movies now coming out that are all computer generated, and this was, you know, like I said, in the 70s, and it was kind of just a real classic in the horror genre. So I definitely recommend this for summer. And of course there's many sequels, but I'm just gonna put Jaws, the original, on the list. And it definitely also inspired a lot of other cool movies that I didn't put on this list. I have a bunch of shark-based and claustrophobic scary movies that I like, but I'm not putting them on this list, so maybe I'll make another one. The next on the list is a movie from 2008 that I have only just watched for the first time this year. It's called Eden Lake, and it is definitely belonging on this summer movie list because it is these young, in love people that go camping, and he has a plan to propose to her on this like romantic camping getaway in the middle of nowhere. So that's the premise, but it definitely doesn't turn out like that. So it's basically this young couple, they go camping, and there's these rowdy like hooligans, like townies that really have nothing better to do, and they're just awful people. They seem pretty young, so they're definitely like just like a gang of like young rowdy children, and at first it seems harmless, but it turns very gruesome. There's gore involved in this movie. I was on the edge of my seat watching this. It's the type of movie that you can't stop watching because you go into like survival mode instinct. You feel what they're feeling, like you want them to survive, and the whole time you're on the edge of the seats, like wanting everyone to survive and get out of this. And you also think like, what would I do in this situation? It's such a situation that it feels so real. It's not like a made-up monster or, you know, something like this. It's something that's more real, a more realistic situation in a horror movie that, you know, you could be camping in the middle of nowhere, no cell service, and then these people that are malicious come for you. So this movie really messed with my head. The ending is very depressing and enraging. I think it tells a lot about society though, because it feels so realistic that it's a realistic kind of ending, which is really sad. I would definitely recommend watching it if you've never seen it. I was so mad after watching it, but like at the same time I was like, how have I never seen this movie? So definitely, you know, woodsy camping, a lake, hence Eden Lake, and it's a British movie, and really good acting, actually. Very great cast, very believable acting, so definitely check it out if you haven't. And the next one is Jeepers Creepers. This one isn't set traditionally in the summer, but it is set in Florida, and it gives you that summer road trip kind of vibe with, it's a brother and a sister. They're driving home, and they're going through this isolated countryside, back roads kind of landscape, and they really run into a creepy encounter they see this type of person and it turns out to be this creature, and it's very ritualistic and very disturbing, very interesting, not like a lot of other movies out there. And this one came out in 2001, and there are sequels to this one, but I'm only putting this one on the list. So it's more of a spring break movie, but you'll definitely feel up to watching it in the summer because of the scenery and everything that takes place. The next one on the list is House of Wax, the remake from 2005. It has Paris Hilton, Chad Michael Murray, so definitely has some cheesiness involved, but come on, we all like a little bit of cheesiness in a scary movie sometimes. I actually watch this movie every year. I love so it is these teenagers that all go on a road trip and they are ending up camping, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and they get stranded, and they're in this really strange middle of nowhere town, and they think it'll be fine. And just to kind of tell you a bit without giving anything away, I brought up IMDb. So it says, a group of unwitting teens are stranded near a strange wax museum and soon must fight to survive and keep from becoming the next exhibit. So there's definitely a lot of gore. I will say it's a gorier kind of movie compared to, like Jaws isn't as gory at all. The House of Wax definitely has some gore in there with the wax figurines, but it's such an interesting storyline. It's captivating, it keeps me interested, and it's just so messed up that I really love that movie. It's not the same old thing, but at the same time it is still keeping a tradition to like a slasher summer movie. And then, like I said, Paris Hilton's in it, so you're gonna have some like cheesy screams and everything like that in the movie, but I think it keeps it fun, and I wouldn't really change anything about this movie. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Next up is an honorable mention. It's not one I would necessarily put on my list. I don't think I'll be rewatching it, but a lot of you guys really love this movie. I was recommended to go watch it for the first time this summer, so it's definitely summer's atmosphere, but it isn't. It is not based in the summer. It's Cabin Fever, and it's actually based in the fall. You can see that at the start of the movie, all the fall trees and the leaves and everything like this. So I think it's more of a fall movie, but at the same time, lots of people go camping in the summer. So I can see why you'd want to watch it in the summer. So basically, these college friends are renting a cabin in the woods, and this flesh-eating disease comes through and affects their lives in a really, I'm telling you, it's a gross movie. If you are bothered by gore, do not watch this movie. I'm okay with some gore, but this was like probably my limit. I watched it all though. I needed to know what happened, and I was intrigued. But yeah, so there's a lot going on in this movie. It's definitely a classic. Like, I had heard of it before, but I just had never got around to it. So I will put it here for an honorable mention if you want something really disgusting and really gory. I think it's also kind of creepy because, like, right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, so, germophobic feelings, even people that aren't normally germaphobe, you have that tendency to be fearful of contracting something and being aware of your surroundings and contaminations. So I think when I watched this movie, my being germophobic was heightened, and then in this movie they have, like I said, this flesh-eating disease, which in the movie is contagious, so it's pretty nasty, and it was kind of a bad choice in the middle of a pandemic, or a good choice if you want to be freaked out. I guess it depends on your perspective. The other movie that I was told to watch this summer was Wolf Creek, and this movie came out in 2005. It's an Australian movie, and it's basically these hikers, they're backpacking in Australia, traveling, and they decide to go into the outback, and they end up getting stranded. They go on this hike, and then things go wrong and they're in basically the middle of nowhere, and someone offers to help them get to the next town. Things don't go well, obviously. Basically, they're all captured and being tortured, and he's basically like this psychopath, and it's very disturbing. If you're not into gore, and so I didn't finish this movie, I'll be straight up. I kind of lost a bit of interest, and I liked some aspects of it, but I found it was a little too like on the genre of like torture porn kind of stuff. I just wasn't feeling that. I feel like it wasn't necessarily needed with the movie, but it was definitely an intense movie. I just did not finish the movie, but if you aren't bothered by that, you might want to check out this movie. I know there's a sequel to it as well, and it is loosely based on these hitchhikers in the Australian outback that went missing. I guess a lot of like hundreds or more than hundreds of hikers and backpackers go missing in the outback in Australia. So it is very, intriguing that way. So if you're interested in that, you might want to check it out. Let's do something a little more lightweight. Obviously not super scary in traditional sense, but I love the TV show Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I could not put a couple episodes on this list. There's a couple episodes I watch every summer because they have, that summer atmosphere. So the first one is, it would be, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, season 1, episode 3, The Tale of the Lonely Ghost. So this is a girl that is sent off for the summer to go and stay with her really bratty cousin, and basically she wants to fit in, and she decides to do whatever. She wants to be initiated in this group of friends and win the respect of her snotty cousin. So she has to spend the night in this haunted house next door. They all lie to her and say that they've already done it. This episode is, I think, really done well, and just like not as you'd expect it to go. If you haven't watched this show at all, you might want to check it out. It's definitely, for me, like I watched it as a child, so I like the cheese factor of it. If you've never seen it, I'm not sure how well it would stand up in today's modernized world, but if you want something totally 90s, you very well may appreciate it. You can check out You Afraid of the Dark on YouTube. They have all the full episodes on there. But yeah, this one, it's really summery because, like I said, she has to go spend the summer there, and it's just kind of one I watch every year. I have another episode I want to add to this list, and that is The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. And that is episode 7. Oh no, sorry. The Tale of Laughing in the Dark is season 1, episode 2. Okay, so I like this one on the list because it is like a town fair and fun house that come in the summer, which gives me like that whole summer vibe. There's always a fair or a carnival and you want to go to it. So basically, I'll read you the premise straight from IMDb. A kid named Josh decides to prove that a fun house is not haunted by stealing the nose of a clown who is supposed to haunt the place. He learns that the story isn't fiction when Zeebo the clown pays him a little visit. Okay, that does sound cheesy. It is, but it's so well done. I love it. This is a classic. This is one of my all-time favorite You Afraid of the Dark episodes. Zeebo the clown, and just, yeah, it's a fun little watch. I say it's like a 30-minute episode, but I guess that was like back in the day with commercials, so I'm sure it's probably like 20 minutes or something of your time to watch it. So yeah, especially if you want to watch something with a clown, check it out. It's lighthearted. You definitely won't, have a nightmare. It's a children's show. It's what I grew up with anyway. I don't think kids today watch this kind of stuff, but they should. The next one I have, it's another You've Heard the Dark episode. The last episode I wanted to add on here was The Tale of the Captured Souls. And this one was season 1, episode 7. And this is a family that moves to a small house in the summer, and there's like a guy that takes care of the house. I guess kind of like a modern day like Airbnb, but like the host is there. Yeah, I guess it's like a B&B, a regular B&B, where you have someone that takes care of the place, lives there, and you stay there as well. This family obviously didn't sign up for this though. So it's a family moves to a small house in the summer where they befriend the young man that lives there, but they start to feel weaker every day. So the title, The Tale of the Captured Souls, this man is essentially, I won't ruin it like I said, but he's essentially taking their souls little by little. This episode's really well done as well. It was another classic You for the Dark Ones that is kind of like on the top of my list as well. So definitely check that one out if that sounds something interesting to you. And now back to the movies. So the other movies on my list here are I Know What You Did Last Summer. Such a cheesy, just feeding into the 90s again. A fun slasher movie. I like it just because, I mean, summer is in the title. It can't not go on this list, basically. A lot of great 90s actresses are in it that just kind of gives you that throwback. And just a classic slasher kind of movie. And there's multiple movies in this franchise, but I'm just going to put the first one in. And if you haven't checked it out, I would recommend it if you want something really cheesy. Even, you know, some parts are kind of like laughable, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. That's another one that I believe it's like 4th of July weekend. I'm Canadian, but I mean, Canada Day is close to the 4th of July, so it's kind of cool. Ones that revolve around like a long weekend or that kind of thing in the summer. The next movie on the list, classic Friday the 13th. So good, obviously. Watch this every year, multiple times, sometimes the old one, sometimes the remake, and ones in between. So if you've not seen Friday the 13th, the original, I definitely recommend that you should do that this summer. It's just such a staple in like the horror genre of slasher films, and Camp Crystal Lake. It's a great movie if you want a good slasher. And if you have only ever seen the old movie, maybe check out the remake and compare it or see what you think. I'd like to know, so you can let me know in the comments what your favorite in the franchise is. I just could not mention that. I know it's like probably on every single list, but it's for a good reason. The other movies I would like to mention is Stephen King's It. You could watch the original or the remake. I actually like both. Just a good movie, and with the children that are all like ending school year for the year, and they're going into summer, and they hang out in the woods and down by the quarry and that kind of thing. You know, it's not like the movie is not fully based on these summer events, but the atmosphere, it gives me a summer feeling that I really enjoy. So that's one on my list as well. You could watch it any time of the year though, even in the fall. Obviously, it's a great Halloween watch. The other ones that I watch, okay, for the first time, I was told to watch The Hills Have Eyes. I actually do really like Wes Craven a lot. I don't know why I have never seen his remake of it, which came out in 2006, but I just watched it for the first time. That's also very gory. There's some like really disturbing scenes. If you're not into gore and that kind of thing, you probably won't like this movie, but if you do, then check it out if you haven't already. Such a summer watch because it's a family that goes on a summer road trip in like an RV camper. So obviously it's pretty creepy because you won't really think of summer vacations the same way. They run into just these horrible, like this family on this road trip runs into a whole other type of family. Yeah, like cannibalistic people. So it's pretty disturbing, but if you want something really gory and violent, check out that movie. It's definitely not a mild watch, but you might enjoy it if you aren't bothered by that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say it's top of my list. Like I said, I just saw it for the first time this year, so you know, it's yeah, he remade it in 2006, and it's based on an older movie. This was the remake. The next movie that I cannot mention is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Once again, obviously gore fest, but I have an easier time watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because when I was younger, I watched it with my friends at a sleepover. It was actually one of the very first like gory, scary movies I've ever seen, and it like traumatized me. But in the like, it was kind of like I couldn't stop watching it, and also I needed to continue to watch other franchise, like other ones in the franchise. I needed to watch it to kind of see like what they did with it. Anyway, I'll obviously, you know, it's about cannibalism, chainsaws, Texas. Even if it's not set in the summer, it feels like it's set in the summer because it's Texas. Plus, hitchhiker, you're on a road trip with your friends. It's just like lots of summer activity going on there. So it really makes you think, you know, it's a good movie that you could be like, wow, like something crazy could happen if you pick up a hitchhiker or stop in one of these small towns, like that kind of vibe, which that vibe is in The House of Wax. And that's why I like that movie as well. It just feels like something like that could possibly happen, like not to that extent, but it just kind of feels a little more realistic that you could end up somewhere where the people that live there, their values are just like twisted because they're so like sheltered away from society. Anyway, so that's, you know, I will put Texas Chainsaw Massacre up there. You could watch the remake, you could watch the original. Both are good, I think. So that's why I put them both on the list. So that's it, I think. Yeah, that is all for the list that I have right now for specifically summer scary movies. So I hope that this has helped you maybe find another movie to check out. And also I want to know, what are your top summer scary movies? Let me know in the comments. I love to talk scary movies. So let me know. And actually making this and talking through, I feel like I want to make a list about specifically shark or specifically ocean related scary movies, because I find one thing that Jaws does well, and a lot of other movies like even The Shallows with Blake Lively, those kind of movies, like they give you claustrophobia and like fear of the unknown ocean, which are very interesting to me. I like those kind of movies, so I might make a list of movies like that too. So let me know if you're into that too. And thanks for watching. If you have not already clicked away, I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll get better at making making these videos so I'm not rambling. But have a good night, guys. Thanks.